live.
Okay. So
Hello.
obviously, Ashlyn
And Shelley,
it's a question and answers session. Facebook messages coming in. But Lesley, just so you can introduce yourself so people know exactly who you are.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Lesley Butlin. I'm based up in Newark in the Midlands, and I've been working in mental health for the last 30 years as a counsellor and a psychotherapist. And the last sort of 2 years, I've been doing mindset coaching. So what I mean by that is helping people think about how they can live the life they want to live, rather than so many of us have self-limiting beliefs that we think, I can't do that because she'll think that, or I can't do that because they'll think that. So I help people become who they want to be, really.
Brilliant. Okay. And obviously, like, I know that you work with runners, and do you run marathons?
I've just won. I'm only doing one.
Okay, all right then. So marathon runner, you work with runners with their mindset, but obviously we are living in a little bit of a crazy world right now as well.
Absolutely.
So I suppose just to let booty fitters know, the whole session it's just open, honest questions and answers. So a few people have asked questions. Shelley's got a question. And booty fitters, if you're watching this, can you just put a thumbs up so we know people are watching it? Because if we feel that we're just talking to ourselves, we'll just go and sit in the garden instead.
Absolutely.
And if you've got any questions, please
type them. Type them as a comment on the Facebook Live now. Just type them as a comment, and we'll give them to Lesley.
Brilliant.
Out to her.
Yeah, and don't feel embarrassed, because everyone's going to have probably the same question.
Yeah, ask away. I'm going to ask questions. We've got loads.
Great. And yes, I'm happy to answer questions as a runner and how to keep your mindset positive. But also, I think at this time, as I said to you two earlier when we're planning this, ladies, you know, this is a really unprecedented time. Nobody's lived through this. Nobody's had to stay at home with their families and their children the way we are doing at the moment. So I think anything that I might be able to say or help or alleviate some of those concerns and worries, I'm really happy to do that. So yeah,
okay.
Share, ask.
So look, we've got a few questions here, and Shelley's got one. Should we just kick off and ask you questions?
Let's go.
Right. Okay, Shelley.
Yeah. So my question was, so I've always been a terrible sleeper, but right now with everything going through your mind and stuff like that, I'm having terrible sleeps. So for example, today I didn't sleep well last night. I feel absolutely shat today. I've got no motivation to run, if I'm honest. How can I get over that? How can I sleep better?
Yeah, I think it's about what we do during the day, usually impacts on how we sleep. Yeah. So it's about and that last hour of the evening. So one of my rules is not to have phones in the bedrooms.
Oh my God, I couldn't.
Oxygen, I know.
God, yeah.
But actually, if we have a routine at night, you know, like I know some of you have had children, some of people are watching have probably got children. You know, we always did a bedtime routine for our children. You know, mostly we'd feed them, then we'd give them a bit of playtime, probably a bit of run outside in the garden if it was nice weather like today. And then you'd have a bath, and you'd have a story, and you'd perhaps have some calming music. And that's what we know is the way of bringing the brain down. What most adults do is bang, 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 bang. Maybe might have a drink, maybe have a shower. Most of us are in bed and we're screening, or we're watching something, we're scrolling through Facebook, or we're searching, or we're watching something on the laptop, and then we shut it and we expect to go to sleep. And your brain is still
buzzing.
So
some of it, Shelley, is about, go on.
No, and I was going to say, like, quite often just before we go to bed, you'll talk about something like to do with work or some, and I go, do you know
how
what?
Exciting.
Yeah, but I would say talk about it in the morning, because I don't want to think now. And so, fingers crossed, I'm quite a good sleeper.
Yeah, so some of that is about ring fencing your worries at night. So I often say to people, have a bit of a brain dump. So if there's nobody in the house, just get a sheet of paper, just spend 5-10 minutes writing down everything that's whizzing around in your head.
Yeah,
because it might be, oh, what am I going to buy such and such for a birthday? Or what are we going to do about that class on Thursday? Or
you know, exactly all that.
Write it down, just write it down, fold it up, put it in a different room. Have a nice milky drink. Go and do something like a really nice relaxing yoga. Adrienne does some nighttime yoga.
I don't do yoga. I was thinking more of a relaxing drink, a shot of Sambuca. Is that not very relaxing though?
Maybe not. I was thinking more of a milky drink, if I'm honest. But
Yeah,
some
brilliant, Lesley.
mindfulness, I meditate every night. I just do 10 minutes. It just slows the brain down, changes the wiring in our brain.
Yeah.
We know that that makes a huge difference.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Lesley. Cheers. I will practice. I will try
A
meditation.
routine, a different
And you know how she does with that. And to be fair,
accountability.
and I've been
we
suggesting
know
to
about that, yeah.
Shelley for a long time, maybe to do yoga and meditation to relax. Okay. Now, you know what, Lesley, this may answer the next question we've got, but one of our members said, how do you reduce anxiety? Like this member exercises, so she's using exercise to reduce anxiety, but what else can she do without exercise?
And it's really hard at the moment. We had a conversation at the weekend, Ashley, when we were setting this up, and I was saying the things we normally do to manage our levels of stress and anxiety aren't available to us. So a lot of us will shop, a lot of us will work, a lot of us will run. And yes, we're still running, but people go and work out in the gym. That's all closed. People might go and have the nails done as a way of coping with anxiety. You know, that's all stopped.
Yeah.
So this is a huge thing. And I think it's about recognizing what your anxiety, what your anxious thoughts are.
Okay.
So for a lot of people, what I've been working with this week, lost my earbud. A lot of people are saying they're worrying about things that aren't in their control. So 2 people have said things to me like, what if I can't help my mum when she needs discharging from hospital? What if the kids are off till September? Like, we don't know how long this is going to last. You know, we were just saying that earlier on. We don't know. So what I teach people is deal with what you can today. You know, that there used to be a book out from America a few years ago called Sweat the Small Stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. And it's a bit like, we can only control our own environment. So work on controlling your environment. 2 really good questions I teach clients to ask themselves. Is it happening now? So when we do are the kids off? What if the kids are off till September? How will I possibly manage? What if It's like, is it happening now? Is it September now?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So it's literally just compartmentalizing what you have to deal with here and now.
Yeah. I talk about, we all have an anxious child, like an inner child. Some of you have heard that theory about an inner child. Yeah. And
definitely.
I'm a lot older than you two, but I was brought up in the late 60s when we had reins, and so the children used to run off, but we were brought back on reins. And I don't want you to bring your child back forcefully, but it's about getting hold of that inner child and saying, that's not happening now, that's not happening today. It's not helpful to run off with that thought. It's like, come back a minute, just today. So I can control. Go on.
And do you know what, Lesley, when you're saying about, like, do you think people should actually list down all the things they're anxious about, and then they can divide it into lists? So what can I control? What can't I control? What's happening now and what's in the future?
Yeah.
But question on that is, if people do that list, the ones they've said about the future, are they not going to be thinking, oh my God, I can't answer them now? So is that?
Well, I'd say shred it, rip it up, burn it.
Yeah.
I'd gather all those thoughts and I'd just shelve them for now.
Okay.
And I know that sounds a bit woo, but actually it helps, you know, to get them out your thoughts, get them out your mind.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't help. What happens is, shall I say a bit about the brain? Is that going to be helpful?
Anything is going to be really, really beneficial. We love it.
At the moment, the whole world, and particularly England at the state we're in, but lots and lots of the country are on what we call high alert. So our stress response is triggered. This is the brain. Doesn't look like a brain, it looks like my fist.
My brain.
A guy called Siegel does the brain-hand model, or the hand-brain model. So he talks about the old brain at the back. So that's called our reptilian brain. So, you know, the fight, flight, freeze? That's making sense to people? Yeah. So a lot of the time, that bit of our brain is flicking. Or at the moment, it's like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What if that happened? So it's like this all the time. So what we need to do is, the upper cortex is the mindfulness, the yoga, the calming breaths, the sitting, the thinking, not thinking, the calming. That stops that brain. So at the moment, we're all in what we'd call high alert. We're all in that stress response. Even those of us that are normally quite chilled and quite calm. You know, I can feel a little bit of unease even in myself.
Yeah, I think we all can. Yeah.
Okay.
And so some of that is normal. So it's recognizing, okay, I've got that triggering, I've got that flicking. How can I manage it?
Okay.
That making sense?
Yeah,
you know, perfect.
I'm just going to say.
Excuse me 1 minute. You know what, Lesley? If we've got like a face like that, it's purely because I think we're genuinely really interested in listening, and also we're looking at Facebook Live to see other people's questions.
And I can see one.
Yeah. So
is it making sense to people?
Yeah. And you know what, guys? If you're, can we just see how many people are watching? If you're watching this and it's making sense and you like what you're hearing, can you give us a thumbs up? Remember,
because I can't see the Facebook page, so it's really helpful whether you think I'm talking gibberish.
Okay, it all makes perfect sense to me. So guys, for you guys watching, please give it a thumbs up, one of those. If you've got any questions, as I say, Lesley's got loads and loads of experience, so now is the time to ask. Okay. Niran's got a question there.
Yeah. So Niran, thanks for your question. She's saying, Lesley, that she gets anxious just before a run or a workout, butterflies in her stomach, sometimes head spin, but she loves to do it and wants to do it. She loves doing it and wants to do it. What should she do, basically, to control those feelings?
Do it. Simple. There's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Susan Jeffers,
and one of her very first sentences in that book, it's an old book, but she talks about what we resist persists. And I think that's so important, because if I think, you know, I've never wanted to do big talks to people. I love this sort of thing, small groups. I don't know how many's watching. I've no idea. I don't need to know. But last year I went don't tell me. I went right out my comfort zone and I did a massive small conference. That's an oxymoron, but a big speak in front of people. I was so anxious about it. Didn't want to do it really, but I thought, I'm going to do it. I prepared really well, got lots of help with my slides. I went out there and did it. I hated it and I'll never do it again. But my point is, I would have always been anxious about it if I hadn't have done it. I now know I can do it and I don't like it. And that's different. So it is about feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. And it's about saying to yourself, how will I feel at the end of this? So
why do you think Niran would have that just about exercise? No, was it, she feels like a bit, like Niran, one of our members was saying, she almost feels a bit anxious before she exercises. Why would that be? Because obviously that's really different than standing up in front of potentially hundreds of people.
But what's her thought? I know you probably can't ask because she might not want to share, but her thought might be, I might get this wrong, or will somebody laugh at me, or what if somebody sees me? There'll be a thought that goes with that.
Okay, so it's the thought, the not very confident thought about her that's making her anxious.
Yeah. Anxiety is always kicked off by a thought. We don't recognize that. Most people say, oh, Lesley, it just comes over me. But actually it comes from a thought.
Okay.
So the thought, so it'd be interesting. She might just be able to say that for herself. She might not want to share that with us.
Yeah. I'll see whether she does say anything on the news feed in a minute. And you know what, Lesley, there's a couple of other questions coming in.
I'm just trying to find them.
Just while you're finding them, okay? So obviously we run a running club.
Yeah. I wish I lived closer.
Right. I'm one of these people. Like, when I was a kid, I had anxiety and OCD. And then after the age of 11, it went, and I read like books, and I've done like miracle morning and meditation. So I always do work like this, okay? And I always believe that you have to exercise in life because it keeps me sane.
Absolutely.
Why does exercise work, and why should people more than ever be making time to exercise now and go out running?
Exercise changes the chemicals in our brain.
Okay.
So people will have heard of noradrenaline and adrenaline probably. Yeah. And what we know is that feel-good hormone. So we know that, again, it's about changing chemicals in our brain. So I could get into really deep neuroscience. I don't want to do that. But, you know, the way our brain works is neuroscience. And what we want is that, again, to bring the stress levels down, to bring that adrenaline down, is actually to create the feel-good hormone, the noradrenaline. It's complicated, isn't it? So the more we can exercise, the more we can go for a run, the more it will get rid of that stress and bring that brain down again. And I also think, this might sound a bit weird to people, but I think we process when we run. So I'm trained in a type of therapy that's about eye movement therapy, which really helps with trauma. And the woman that developed it was an American called Shapiro. If anybody wants to know more, I can put links up later. But she went out for a walk, and you'll know this, ladies, if ever you had a bit of a spat with each other, or you've had a bit of an argument with somebody at work or something, and you feel a bit wound up and you just think, right, and you just go out and you're stomping down the road, you might be having a fast walk. When you come back, how do you feel?
Different.
Always feel different, don't you? Always feel better. So there's something about that bilateral movement that changes how we process and how the brain processes. So EMDR, which is about eye movement, actually works on that bilateral processing, and that's what running does. And I didn't recognize this until a couple of years ago when I started linking my running and my work together. So I think for a lot of people, running and walking, hiking, whatever you want to call it, if we do you, and even bicycling, people say if you're on a bicycle, it works the same, spin classes, you actually process some of those worries and some of that anxiety.
Because you know what, so many people that come running, and you'll know this, at the end they always go, oh my God, I feel amazing, I feel brilliant, and that's the reason why, is it?
How many of you guys out there turn up to a session like, oh, really not in the mood, and then exactly that, and then I ask the same question when you finish, how do you feel now? Oh my God, I'm so glad I came. So
I know,
obviously.
And I say to people, if you could bottle how you felt at the end of a run, we'd run all the time, wouldn't we?
Yeah, totally.
We'd run all the time.
I have another.
I think Shelley's got
yeah, great.
I'm sorry, I'm on my phone, Lesley, ladies.
No,
but
it's
I'm
fine.
I can't see my screen.
I've got one as well.
So Julie Norton Scott, hi. So you said, I feel as if the news is sending my anxiety over the top, so I only watch the news once a day, but I'm doing this for everyone else. So these sessions are a lifesaver for me. Oh, thank God, Ashley and Shay, that I found you. How to switch off, please, from what's going on? Great question.
Brilliant. I think that's a really good question, and lovely to hear how well you're doing helping these guys. So that's great. Well done, you two ladies. And I think it's about, I'm not looking at the news. I have it on BBC. I'm not listening to radio news, and I don't have a television in my house, so I'm not watching TV. But I've been checking in once before the evening sort of starts. So around this time, really, 5, 6, as I finish work, I think I just look at the headlines, but I am not reading anything other than BBC News, because there's so much false news and so much on social media. I was talking to a doctor who's in our local intensive care unit working with coronavirus, and she said, tell people to stop reading Twitter. She said, it's absolute nonsense. She said, what people are putting out is not even true. So I'd really limit what you do. And I say to people, if you have to look once a day, look once a day. If you have to look at Facebook, I've limited myself to twice. I'm doing a little bit in the morning, not first thing, later on. And then a little bit sort of again, early evening. And then all those things you've always wanted to do them. So all those things that we say we never have time to pick up a book. There's some absolute fabulous podcasts out at the moment. You know, I absolutely adore, I don't know if people know about Dr. Chatterjee, Live Better, Feel Better, Live More. I love his stuff. He's just done an anxiety podcast this week that came out on Wednesday. I can put a link, that's on my Facebook page if people want to look at that.
And you know, I'm really going back in time here. When I was 17, I read a book, and I'm listening to it now, Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living.
I don't know the book, but I've heard it.
It's really, really old fashioned, but I love that. And then secondly, Julie, I was talking to my best friend yesterday, and she went, you know what, all she does is listens to the Chris Evans breakfast show. I used to love him on Radio 2, but he does Virgin Radio now. And apparently he's brilliant because he talks about it, but in a really, really positive way.
He's very positive. He's done a lot of coaching in the last couple of years, and he's done a lot of mindset and self-help work. So he recommends some really good books.
Brilliant. Okay.
I'm going to really interrupt really quickly here. Ladies, I'm having real problems looking at your messages. So I'm literally going to step out the screen for a second. I'm going to put a post on to say, ask your questions on this post, because then I can see the media. I can't see it on live. Bear with me.
Technology.
Questions.
And also, I've got another question here, if that's all right.
Does that answer Julie's? Do you think that was, did that answer
you know
it
what?
enough?
To me, it sounded like it really
It did.
answered it.
Great.
Shelley's just checking the news feed.
See what people are saying.
Okay, so other things we've got coming in is Heidi. Oh yeah, so Julie put thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Heidi Harris has put, I always find the first couple of miles really difficult, obviously running, and keep thinking I can't do this and want to give up. I know if I keep going, I'm pretty much okay and I can keep going. What might be causing this mindset and how can I control it?
Absolutely. That is such a good question. I work with runners all the time. I don't enjoy my first mile. I'll be honest. I never really enjoy my first mile. It always feels a bit tough and a bit hard and my breathing's not right and my legs feel heavy. And it's really easy to get caught into all that. So it's about holding on to that inner child, actually. It's a similar thing. So rather than anxiety, notice what your thoughts are and notice what you could be saying. So that inner self-talk, what was that, Heidi, wasn't it? That inner self-talk that Heidi's sharing of, oh, this is hard work. I'm not really enjoying it. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing it anyway. It's about noticing that. The first bit is about increasing your awareness to what you're saying to yourself. Because as soon as you say that, there's that, again, that part of the brain starts shutting down, really. It's like, oh, I don't even want to do this. This is hard. This is boring. Why am I doing it? Whereas actually, if you say, let's count 3 signs of spring. This is what I do on my runs. Okay, let's find a number 12. Let's count 3 red cars. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it entertains your kid.
Okay.
So I've only doing 1 marathon, as I said, but that's how I got through my long runs, was by getting my kid to join in, rather than, oh, this is so hard. This is so difficult.
Yeah.
How are they versus affirmations? Because I love affirmations when I'm starting to run. I am beautiful, I'm powerful, I can do this, all of that kind of.
This. Yeah. I teach people affirmations. I think they're really, really useful.
Okay.
There might be a step. Some people find them really hard to do for themselves. So often there's a sort of bridging step. What would you say to somebody else?
Okay. Because I think you, naturally, I love all of the woo stuff and you don't like.
Yeah, do you know what, Lesley, I've never been into it, and Ashlyn does it all the time, and to be honest, sometimes I look at it and think, what the hell, like crazy lady. But do you know what, that works for her. I think in my own little way, I think I'm quite a positive person, and probably in my own way I do affirmations, but not, as you said, there's different ways of doing them, isn't there?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
and they work for some people. They work for some people and not for everybody. So that's absolutely right, isn't it? And I'm just giving out ideas. Some people won't like these ideas. Some people will, won't they?
Yeah, no. And I think it's brilliant. We've got loads and loads of thumbs up. Loads of people are watching it. So it's all going well. Somebody asked us earlier on, I don't know if it's about running or just in life, but Jane said how to stop doubting myself so much and start believing in myself.
Oh, that's a biggie, isn't it?
And I don't know if it's with regard to exercise or just life.
Okay. And it's the same thing, really. It's that self-belief, What if you believed you're good enough? What if you start saying, whether it's about running, whether it's about being a mother, whether it's about her job, what if you just believed for today? What if you just acted as if you're good enough? And I know that's really tough. And I had a lot of therapy to get over a good enough, to believe I'm good enough. It's a hard one, but it's chipping away at it. Don't just expect tomorrow to wake up and think, oh, I feel good today. It's like, even if you practice it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, it's like, no, I'm not going to listen to that voice today because I'm good enough. I'm not going to think about that today because actually I'm good enough. Does that make sense?
About, but a good way maybe as well, just something really small. Is it good to just take the positives from the day you're living, or even the hour or the minute?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I can see it, they can't see.
Ladies, just really quickly, I put a post on. If you want to ask any questions, I just put. Ashlyn's just lost it.
No, because they won't be able to see that if they watch it. I'll say, do you want to go down to the comments?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't get them up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I asked them to ask questions. Ladies, I put a post on just above. So if you've got any questions, just quickly pop it in there, and then you can scroll back down to the live and see it.
And you know what, Lesley? one thing I think is going to be really hard is obviously even Shelley and I, like life is going to be different, and yeah, like gosh, you know, you can get on with somebody,
Can you tell?
Absolutely.
but like obviously, like I know that we're both looking at each other thinking, no, not even that. Like God, we're literally looking like, is this it until June? Like, or however long, 3 weeks, whatever it's going to be. Okay,
Absolutely.
is this going to be my only contact? And like she's looking upset now.
I'm not.
Oh, okay. But how do we?
Absolutely.
How as human beings, because everyone must be feeling the same at home. Like, what can they do to entertain themselves? And
Absolutely. And I think I was saying to you two earlier, I've just been talking to a colleague of mine who's actually a relate coach, so a relate therapist. So she'd been doing a lot of couples work this week via Skype. And I'm a family therapist, so I've done a lot of work in families. And we were saying it's that not having unrealistic expectation, really. So a bit like, you know, we all expect to sit round and have a happy meal like the Waltons, don't we? We all expect to be really happy when we go off to bed at night, and that's not realistic at the moment. And I think it's about coming together time and time apart. So, you know, what I'm doing is I live with 2 other people and I'm checking in with both of them. So we're eating our main meal together. But during the day, it's like, right, I'm going for a walk at this time, or I'm taking my lunch at this time. Is anybody else free? Anybody want to join me? So, and I know that's a lot harder if you've got little children. But even with little children, it's important to just give them a little bit of screen time, a little bit of time with a book, a bit of time in the garden. You know, can you set up a messy area where they can just go and dig in the soil, or take their trucks out or their dolls out or whatever it is? You know, we don't have to be, we've all got to be under one roof, but we don't have to be under one roof and in the same room every minute of every day. And if you've got teenagers, they're going to need time out, you know. I'm not saying leave them in bed all day, but they're going to need to go and lie in their room and chat with their mates. And it's being realistic. Having time together and time apart, I think, is the key, really. Somebody told me today about a friend of theirs that lives in a 1-room studio in London.
Oh, wow. Gosh.
I know. And they've got a bed that pulls out from the wall, and there's 2 of them in there. And the only door is to a little bathroom with no bath.
But you know what, as well, Lesley, somebody said to me the other day, and that's a small space, but I guess anything is positive, anything is possible if you want it to be. One guy, I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that one guy literally ran a marathon on his balcony. His balcony was like 23 feet. Like, what? That's crazy. But you know what? He's positive and he did it. So I think staying positive, having a positive mindset.
I've got a nephew in Paris who's a gym buddy, and he has his own PT practice. And at the moment, he's out on the balcony with tins of beans and a broomstick, doing his bench presses and doing lives for his clients. So, you know, we can be creative, can't we? We can be creative.
That leads on to another question, actually, Lesley. How important do you think it is for people at home to still have some kind of routine?
Absolutely. I think it's really important. I've been talking this week with a few clients and colleagues, actually, about how, you know, for the first few days for people, it's a bit like, oh, this is just a long weekend. You know, I can just in my pajamas and not really bother with my hair. And I've been saying to people, that's okay for perhaps a day or 2, but actually that will really affect our mental health. It will really affect our mood. And I'm saying to people, have a routine. I'd really encourage you get up roughly the same time each day, go to bed roughly the same time, set up some time each day when you're going to exercise, set up each time each day when you're going to eat, set up each time each day when you're going to learn something new, you know, put on your routine. Yes, I'm going to have you know, a half an hour scrolling through Facebook, or half an hour on social media. Set up some stuff like this with colleagues and friends. You know, I've got a dear friend I see most weeks at work. Today we just had a cup of tea Skype. You know, we just booked it in 3 o'clock. Let's have a cup of tea together. Chatted for half an hour. You know, it's about having a routine, putting those things in, having that connection with people. Because that's what we're by this time next week.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think, you know, if you do get up in the morning normally and have a shower and get ready for work, like you were saying, Lesley, earlier on, get up, have a shower and put your work stuff on. And I know a lot of us are working from home, so don't just get up and think, oh, sod it, I'm gonna work in my pajamas. Go clean your teeth, have a shower, and start your day as you normally would.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
just try and keep some routine. Try and do a different routine at work. And
Yeah.
if you're working from home, have an area where you're working.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting my work into I've got a bit of a separate bit where this is my study. And then, you know, when I finish work, I'd put everything away off my dining table, and I'm back in the house part, and trying to keep work contained. Otherwise, I think it all gets a bit messy.
Totally.
And you know what, Lesley, that's what I was saying to our booty fitters. Like, if they normally run with us at 9:30 on a Thursday morning, don't go out at 12 o'clock running, go out at 9:30.
Yeah.
So even if they're not meeting us at a running group, would you agree they need to run at the same time?
Absolutely. The more you can keep in the routine, the better, again, for your brain and your mental health. And it's fine sometimes to have a day off, isn't it? It's fine to go, oh, do you know, this week I'm not going to do the 9:30 run, you know, but I do park run every week. Wherever I am, I do park run on a Saturday. And me and my husband have said, it might be 9:30 when we go, but Saturday morning, we're going to go for our run. We're going to do a park run, even if it's not a park run, you know?
Yeah. So you
I think
that normality.
because that's the time we come together. That's the time we do that together every week. We don't run together, but we set off together.
And he leaps off ahead.
He's a little bit faster than me.
Yeah, always the way. And you know what? There's one, Lisa Ryan asked, sorry, a few people have said it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just reading your comments now, to be fair.
Yeah, and one person, Lisa Ryan, is in between jobs, and she just put, can you give any recommendations to calm me but keep me focused before a job interview?
Oh, that's a really good question, isn't it? So things like Headspace, if people don't know about Headspace is a meditation app, really, really useful. And you can use it for free. Although they try and get you to sign up, you can use it for free. And then if you do use it for free, they normally send you a 30% off. And I think at the moment it's about £44 for the year. But actually, if you're using it every day, I go £1 a week, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And I think it's about grounding. I've got a grounding app a grounding voice recording on my Facebook page. I wonder if I can link to that to you later on, ladies. I'll try and do some talking to you afterwards about how I can share some things. So it's just where people sit and ground themselves, but it's me talking.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm really willing to share that.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
I think it's about things like that, grounding, meditation. Sometimes, I know it sounds silly, but having a dance around your kitchen to let that out before you sit down and ground yourself.
Yeah. And what do you think? Like, have you probably read Miracle Morning, maybe?
I've got that, yeah.
Okay. And I always nag on, like, I think it's a brilliant concept with all the things they recommend you do. And I go through routines of doing that. And what is it? Savers. What do you think of that as a concept?
I think it's good. I think people have to find their own way, Aislinn, and I don't think it matters whether we do 5 or 4 or 3. I talk about a golden hour with a lot of people. So I talk about not putting your phone on first thing in the morning. Shock horror. Just like I said to you earlier about the sleep, Shelley. You know, if the first thing we do is pick up somebody else's news, that's not good for your mental health. So again, I try and put a routine in the morning where I normally have my shower. I usually get dressed in my work clothes if I'm working. If not, I might come down for, I take a cup of tea back to bed in my dressing gown. I don't turn my phone on through any of that. I might then do a 10-minute, I do stretching, a bit of stretching and work that my physio sets me. So I might do some stretching for my running. I might lie on my bedroom floor and do just literally 5-10 minutes of that. And then might journal for 10 minutes. What I want from the day, what I'm going to give to the day, anything left over from yesterday. And then I might pick up my social media. Then I might do my phone. But, you know, I would do a lot of other things before I'm straight into that. Because again, as soon as we're straight into that, that is triggering that stress response. You're not going to find good news on there at the moment. Well, you are on my Facebook page. But you're not going to. I'm posting every day good news, things that are going well. Yeah. But most of the time you're scrolling through Facebook and it's made up stories and it's stuff that we don't even know whether it's true or not.
Do you post it on your personal page or on your work page?
My mindset coaching page, if people want to look at that.
And I've liked it. What is it? Is it just, it's Lesley Ruth Mindset?
Lesley Butlin.
Lesley Butlin, sorry.
It's all right. That's my name. Lesley Butlin, Mindset Coach.
Okay.
and there's a Facebook page on there. So yeah, come on there, and there's stuff on I can share on there with people. But I'm getting positive stuff, and some of my comments this week have been so lovely that people are really appreciating just thinking outside of the.
Because people, yeah. And you know what, I think it's all about perception, isn't it? And some people hear the negativity and kind of go down that road, or you can look at, we've got more free time, the sun's shining, you know, our routines are being broken, and I find it quite exciting in a weird way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and as Lesley, as you said just before, stuff that you're normally too busy to do, like now's the perfect chance to do it. If you're sitting there with nothing to do, think about all those things that you really wanted to do for so long that you can get your teeth stuck into now.
Absolutely. How
There's
many of you
loads I want to do.
Sorry, how many of you got a musical instrument that you never play?
Yeah.
I know there's a guitar in our spare room.
Do you know what? It's funny. We posted the other day about what would you like to start, like just something you've never done but you'd like to. And so many people said sign language, play a musical instrument, or speak a foreign language.
Yeah, this is your
and
time.
also, okay, so just comments. Jane Cronk is going to have a massive booty fit dance in her kitchen. We said we're going to have a massive knees up when we're let out again. Lisa Ryan about the. Yeah, of course, you are more than welcome. The more the merrier, we believe in. Everyone's part of our Booty Fit family. Also, Lisa Ryan about the job interview said thank you. She loves the idea of having a dance before an interview. Syra, unfortunately, I was just reading through them quickly. Her husband passed away, and she used Headspace for anxiety, and she felt that really helped. And meditation. So obviously that's coming
I got
from
into
someone.
it after a bereavement. That's when I started using it personally. I'd been telling clients to use it for years, but it was when my dad died, I thought, I wonder if it'd help me. And it has really changed as the way my head works. So that's great to hear.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. Anything else on there?
No, I don't think there's any more questions. Hold on just 1 second. Damon,
well, if this is useful, ladies, we can always do it again, can't we? If people want, another top up, another thought in next week, the week after, I'm really happy to do it again. So.
And obviously this is the first time we've done it like this, ladies, and Lesley as well. So obviously we're on Zoom. You guys can all actually jump on Zoom as well and ask your questions directly if Lesley's happy with that next time, but we can sort that out. So then she can see your questions instead of us scrolling through all the time.
Yeah.
It's worked though, hasn't it? We're all learning.
Another one, Lesley. Julie Norton-Scott, thank you. She said that session was bloody amazing. Lesley was so uplifting. Can we have her back? Thank you.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, Lesley. Julie, thank you for that.
Oh, that's really
so
lovely.
Lesley, do you know what? Genuinely, we're pretty upbeat, but it's definitely helped set the bar of what we need to do. And I know 100% other booty fitters, lots of people are probably feeding their kids now as well.
Yeah, people will watch this later, won't they?
Yeah. So I found it really, really beneficial.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing, Leslie. And you're so easy to talk with, to talk to. You've got a lovely warm aura. So yeah, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, it's my pleasure. I used to be a mental health nurse. I don't want to get back to that. I can't go and help at the wards. I don't want to do the wards if I'm honest. But if I can help people keep their mental health at this time, that's great for me. It feels like a gift that I've been given. So I'm really happy to do that.
Lesley, one last question. We've got quite a few people here that work for the NHS, like work in intensive care. And obviously, they've been told they're working 7 days a week for 3 months. And I'd imagine emotionally what they're seeing, any tips on what they can be doing?
It's tough, isn't it? It's self-care when you can. And I think when you're on the coalface, if you like, on the front line, I think it's about getting through this how you can. And and what I mean by that is people start saying, oh, Lesley, I had chocolate last night. Really? That's fine. Oh, Lesley, I opened a bottle of wine. I think that's okay. I don't think this is the time to be strict and unkind. I think if you feel like going to bed, go to bed. If you've got a chance to nap. If you feel like you need a chocolate, what I mean? I think it's about self-care. So I would do whatever they can to look after themselves between shifts, when they come out of shifts, some downtime. Again, I wouldn't go scrolling through Facebook. I wouldn't go scrolling through the news. I'd put on something really uplifting, some music, a podcast, something you know, I said to somebody the other day, when you finish, I was talking to a doctor actually in ITU here, I think I said that earlier, and I said to her, I know this sounds really silly and perhaps a bit trivial, when you finish work, spend 10 minutes, put those silly cat videos on, you know, or some fails or something. My son watches those, but you know, something that's just going to lift you, a comedian for 10 minutes. We've got to find the good in this. You know, there's going to be enough doom and gloom. If you can make yourself laugh even for 10 minutes, you're going to feel better.
And you know what? Our Facebook group isn't about laughing, but because so many of our members post in our Facebook group, I don't see the other news feed. So all we seem to be seeing is members doing stuff and posting videos. So I find our Facebook group are really positive because people are sharing their own good news stories about how they're feeling.
Yeah,
and that's brilliant.
From my side, I'm a massive Facebook scroller normally, and literally I haven't looked at my Facebook for so long because Booty Fit Running Club, well done ladies, just purely taken up my newsfeed.
Yeah, that's great.
All you great things that you're all doing. Yeah, so yeah, that makes me happy to see that we're all staying so positive at the moment.
That's really good. Maybe we can do some joint challenges. Maybe we can set things for people to take photos of them doing or sharing things.
Because we've got lots of challenges in here that I can share with you for your running club if you want.
That'd be great. Yeah, I love that.
Lesley, genuinely, thank you so much for today.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
I really appreciate it. And obviously, anything I say is going to be shown on the live. So
yeah, I'm going to literally, ladies, I'm going to stop streaming now onto Facebook. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Any feedback gratefully received. If there's things people want another time, just say, I'm really, you know, I'm happy to share what I've got in my head.
Okay, brilliant. And you know what, Lesley, I'll get your Facebook page and just put it on this video as well. Okay?
Fabulous. Thank you.
But yeah, thank you very much indeed for today.
Thank
you.
Have you getting your clapping hands? Are you getting your clapping hands ready for 8 o'clock?
Oh yeah, NHS.
Are they going to? Is that? Are they going self-employed?
No, you know
NHS.
Oh, the NHS. Is it 8 o'clock tonight? Is it?
Yeah.
Most definitely. Lovely to talk to you, ladies. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.